Okay, today we're going to be talking about how to set up a wireless home router. Here we have the Cisco Linksys WRT160N. Most routers you buy today will be similar to this router. In the box, we have the documentation, CD, we probably won't need this later. Have an Ethernet cable, your untwisted pair, or a patch cable. It's usually included. You'll probably need another Ethernet cable to connect to the internet from your modem. Here we have the router itself. You can see it has 4 LAN ports and an internet port, or WAN. This will connect to your internet. And then we have the power adapter. Okay, so you plug one Ethernet cable into WAN port, probably number 1. Plug the other into your computer so we can configure the router. There we go. Make sure you have power outlet. Alright, took a while to turn on, but there it goes. Next we're going to talk about how to access the router.
Now that we set up the router, we're about to configure it. And how we go about configuring the router is we go to our web browser. And by the way, we don't need this. And we enter our default IP address that comes with on the documentation. So we go in our taskbar here, our IP address 168.1.1, and our username by default it's admin, and our password it's admin, and that's how we log in for our basic setup.
Tab.
Stop.
Today we'll just be talking about basic settings, basic setup. We won't talk about DNS, MAC address, all this. That's more for advanced users. Language, you speak English, probably keep it English. Your internet connection type. If you don't know your IP address, chances are you want the automatic configuration, DHCP. That's how most internet users in the US are hooked up to internet. So probably keep it automatic configuration. Network setup, you can change your IP address. So if you don't want to keep the IP address default, but we'll just leave it today. DHCP server, you want to keep enabled. That'll give your IP addresses to your different devices. And down, we'll just keep this default. We need to change the time zone. We're in Oklahoma now, so we'll change it to Central Time. Okay, next we'll talk about the wireless settings. Okay.
So here we are. We're about to configure the wireless security settings. And what you want to do is you go with the manual. You don't want to enter the PIN because it's mostly located in the back of your router if you don't know your password. And the network mode, we want to go with the mix because it's more compatible with most devices. And the network name, you can change it to Grandma. And the channel we want to use is the auto, because every time it configures it automatically. And that if you want for more security, you can disable the SSID broadcast, so it won't broadcast on the window over here. And like if I disable it, it won't come up here. Right now, it's showing that it's broadcasting. Then make sure you hit save to save your settings. Then we're gonna go to the wireless security, and the wireless security mode right now it's off by default. And what we want to do is go with the WPA2 personal, and the encryption that we're gonna go, and that's more secure right now, is the AES, and we'll create a passphrase, and we're just gonna say lucky 23, and make sure you save it, and every time that you try to connect, you gotta know this passphrase.
Today in the Linksys router, we didn't talk about these three tabs very much. Security, access restrictions, and applications and gaming. I'll just kind of go through really quickly now. Tell you some basics. Firewall. That's more for security reasons, advanced security. Web filter, this will filter different types of web protocols. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. Probably won't need that unless you want to watch some videos that are country specific, which I doubt you'll need. Access restrictions. Let's say your grandkids are on the internet too much. You can filter the days of the week you want them on, or you can block URLs if you don't want them going to certain websites. Applications and gaming. If you're a gaming grandma, you might go look into this. Port forwarding, port range forwarding, and triggering. Demilitarized zone, make sure to leave this disabled. QoS stands for quality of service. Let's say you want more bandwidth going to your gaming, going to your Netflix, you can make certain applications load quicker, consume more bandwidth than other applications. That's it. Next we'll talk about the status tab.
How your router is configured, you can always just go to the status tab, and right here there's a other tab below that, and it'll tell you about your router and your latest firmware version, and about your IP address and stuff, and default gateway, and you can assign a new IP address, and there's other tabs as well, like the local network. It'll tell you your local MAC address as well, and there's another tabs like the wireless network. It'll pretty much the things. It'll tell you about the security settings that we set earlier on. It'll tell you like the mode, the channel that you're on, security is disabled. The SSID broadcast, it's enabled, so it's broadcasting, as you can see over here. It's right here. And if you need help, you can always just click help. It'll tell you some of the terms, what the meaning. And there it is. Station tab, and we're about to change the router's password. We're just gonna say grandma got ran over by a reindeer, and here we do the same. Okay. And we want to make sure for the web access that we have HTTPS and not the HTTP for more security online when you're doing shopping or any of that stuff. And the web utility access by wireless is you can remotely connect to by the wireless, and you can just access that router anywhere. And if you want remote management, you can also set that to enable. and this will give you more settings, like you can remote upgrade and change the ports. And UPnP, the user can configure some of the settings to disable the internet access and stuff like that. And we right here, we're make sure you back up your configurations, and you're gonna say keep, and it does it for you. So it's in a text file, and every time that you reset your router, you can just restore your configurations, and it will ask you where's the file and stuff, and you go here, and there is our file, and you just open it and start to restore, and that's how you load the file after you
Now we're on the firmware upgrade tab under the administration tab. What a lot of people do is they don't upgrade their firmware whenever there's security risks or performance enhancements. But today we want to make sure that we're upgraded to the latest firmware. To get to the firmware, you want to go to the manufacturer of your wireless router's website. So this router is a Linksys router. The model number is WRT160N. So you type that in, and on the website see if there's any updated firmware. Then whenever you have that downloaded from your browser, you can go here to choose file, and you can choose the firmware whenever you download it. And once you start the upgrade, make sure to not interrupt the upgrade. It's here in red. Most routers will have the progress bar. It'll fill up. And if, let's say you messed up, let's say you want to get back to your factory default of the router, you can try to go here and restore all settings. That'll restore your router to factory default, to how it was when you got it.